Hello, everybody. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I'm Andy Signor, and I loved the season finale of The Mandalorian. I loved it. I watched it 3 times. I'm a little late to my review, but I've reviewed every other episode. I wanted to make sure I shared my feelings on episode 8. We're going to spoil it. I'm also going to talk about the season in general, my overall thoughts, now that it's all complete. What do we think? And we're going to break down Jon Favreau, what he tweeted out and is already saying about season 2, what the rumors are. Let's get to it. So, first of all, directed by Taika Waititi, Episode 8, Redemption, coming off the cliffhanger of Episode 7, which left us wondering the fate of Baby Yoda and Quill. I was nervous as heck last time. Deborah Chow directed that one brilliantly. Taika Waititi steps up. Felt very similar. Both of those. Deborah Chow, can we say again how amazing? She needs a bigger property. I'm excited for her to do Obi-Wan, but I want to see her do her own movie or something. She's fantastic. So, Star Wars movie. So, give her and Taika more Star Wars stuff. They're killing it on Mandalorian with Dave Filoni and Favreau. But director-wise, Filoni's episodes were okay. Chow and what Taika were, I think, the standouts by far. But this episode picked up right there with one of my favorite scenes I think I've seen in an episode. These scout troopers.
Men? Oh, who knows? These guys like to lay down the law when they first arrive in a town, you know. You know how it is.
I just love the scene.
Shut up.
These just characters just sitting there.
What is that thing, anyway?
They're just sitting there doing what, scout troopers would do. The world of Star Wars is filled with moments like this where the troopers would just hang out, be bored, and they'd have some sort of back and forth chat. And I love that Taika Waititi was able to sort of do that very everyday life of the extras in the universe that we, see so often, but give them something to do. It was so fun to see and funny. It was Jason Sudeikis from Saturday Night Live and Adam Pally, very funny comedian, actor, and the two of them just riffing in character in the suits. I loved it. I loved it. And I love that's what this world and this show are giving us. Our actors just coming in for a day, having some fun or really exciting moments, and then we don't see them again. It's just we're moving through like a serial would, like a Western. In the world of Star Wars, where we're passing through a lot of characters and people we thought we knew, but we get to see more sides of, and that's very exciting for me. That's my favorite part of this show. I to be clear, I haven't watched Clone Wars or Rebels. Now that I'm liking this, and everyone's saying how often awesome those are, and how much I'm seeing these being connected, I'm definitely more intrigued to watch them. So good on Star Wars for getting me to now want to go back and check out the cartoons. But this scene to me spoke to me. It was perfect for Taika Waititi, and I just think really great to see moments in the Star Wars universe that aren't just flying around laser battles, swords, and stuff. So that's where we started off. It was, I thought, fantastic and very funny. The episode then progresses and reveals a lot. I loved the reveal of IG coming back. What was really cool about the episode was, they usually I try to avoid the previously on episode. And in this one, I let it play. And then as soon as I did, I was like, oh man, I shouldn't have. I forgot IG's and it probably turned bad. They're setting him up again. They're reminding me about him. And nothing I thought about happened. It all played out sort of surprising. I didn't think. I immediately just assumed the way they were sort of setting up that IG was going to turn on Mando and Baby Yoda. And you just keep sort of, they're clearly just going to go that way. And they didn't. I love that they didn't. I love that they sort of surprised my expectations, at least. And then he shows up and just guns everybody down and is like, no, I'm here to protect that baby. Get your hands off that baby. Yes, they set that up. It was perfect. It made sense. But I just wasn't thinking it yet because of the way the show was progressing really cleverly and smartly. And so another brilliant moment I loved. He shows up, takes the baby, just destroys them.
You to get out of here.
It's just a great moment. Loved it. Loved all this. I want to see more of that. Just bashing him against the bikes. And then he shows up into town. Before he does, though, we realize that they're stuck in there, and then we get to meet Gus Fring in the Star Wars universe. Giancarlo Esposito is fantastic. It's a very similar role to the Gus Fring he played in Breaking Bad. Polite and very aggressive, and will do anything to get his way. But I liked it. It was nice to see that character sort of back with a cape in a new world. And he drops a lot of bombs revealing who our characters are. He knows all of their names.
Mandalorian recruits in the night of the songs of this particular model. Or perhaps the decommissioned Mandalorian hunter, Din Djarin.
Din Djarin, what? And they're laying all this stuff just down quickly, and it's all stuff that I'm like, whoa, wait, what? They're not saving stuff. They're like, here, finally, yep. You want to see who he is? Okay, cool. Where he came from, how this connects to the other shows. For those that watch shows, bam, 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 bam. And it was more for me to handle. There's a lot of YouTube videos you can go find explained on this episode that'll be more well-informed, so I'm not going to try and mislead you there. But I did gather enough that he's dropping a lot of history on where this Mandalorian comes from, and judging by his Darksaber at the very end, which I didn't know as much about, but when I saw it, I was like, what is that? That's cool. I didn't even realize it was a black lightsaber. But when he's coming out of that ship at the end and pulls out that weapon, fans lost their mind who watched Clone Wars and Rebels, because that is a very historic and big weapon in the history and the lore of Mandalore and the Mandalorians. How did he get it? All these questions are being asked, and you can find a lot of people talking about where this came from. It's called the Darksaber, if you didn't know, and it's got a very long history. It comes from Mandalore, and before it was in the hand of Gideon's, one of the Mandalorian's culture's most prized weapons and artifacts, created during the rule of the Old Republic by Taras Vizsla, the first Mandalorian to ever join the Jedi Order. The saber itself was distinct from any other lightsaber at the time, or since the blade is angled like that of a standard sword. Its emitter was small and thin, again mimicking a sword blade. The Darksaber has a unique black blade, and notably is shorter than most lightsabers, though things like its size and intensity can change based on its owner's emotions. And so anyway, this carried, I don't want to spoil the show, but you can find a lot about it. Pre-Vizsla, who was from the show, voiced by Jon Favreau. Now there's rumors of, did it come from him? Is he going to come back? A lot of questions that could happen. Could things be retconned from that show? Clone Wars and Rebels, to my knowledge, are all canon. So it is interesting to watch them sort of have to do these parallel times, although they're later. So it'll be interesting to see if any of this connects or where it went, because they sort of, where it went and how it happened through those shows, but now Mandalorian's pulling some of it back saying, no, you thought you knew, but there was more to it. Does this mean we'll see more characters from Rebels? A lot of people are speculating. So I don't know that stuff. I'm going to try and educate myself before season 2 so I can enjoy it more, and I suggest we all do. It's all on Disney+. But there's a lot of stuff you can learn. Darth Maul, who didn't die, he was in Solo too, you should know this. He had it for a time period. And then Sabrina Wren had the Darksaber on Mandalore. It's passed a lot of hands, and so the question is, how did he get it? I assume we'll learn more. But very cool sort of fan service there of sort of showing us this awesome weapon that a lot of people are talking about. Aside from all of that, we also we have this whole scene here with Baby Yoda. Once again, saves him using the Force. This awesome scene where he protects them all and blows up the flamethrower trooper. And then we finally get this moment, where we finally see Din Djarin's face. He kept saying, Pedro Pascal, I'm not going to release my mask. I don't take my mask off. But he didn't take the mask off, did he? No living thing has seen me with my helmet since I swore my creed. IG wisely realizes I am not a living thing. And suddenly, bam. And of course, back to spray solves all problems. We need to mass market that immediately. He was healed in a matter of hours from head trauma with some back to spray. Is that canon too? Has that been coming up in the shows? Someone tell me in the comments down below. But it was a nice moment. I was glad. While I thought they were going to commit and not show him, I like that we saw his head. It's nice to see him in this moment of weakness with a droid. The thing he's been sort of avoiding and hating all season. That was what sort of made this twist that we all fell in love with this droid, and it was all Quill who sort of proved anybody can be, rehabilitated. And I love that message. Quill was one of my favorites. His loss glossed over here at the end, but we got to bury him at the very end, but that was very sad. I liked him. It was a sad way to see him go. He has spoken though for all of us, and I think will live forever as a character we loved from this series. But to have that whole thing where he rebuilt IG, to then have him come and save the day, and then lead us to our ending where, before we get that, we got to talk about the armorer. So they meet the armorer, another cool scene. I loved this, what is it called? Tag they give him, the Mudhorn. The Creed of Two, that he's now the Tribe of Two. This is going to inspire a lot of tattoos, I have a feeling. But when it was just me and my son, I would have gotten that. But now I have more in my life than just my son. But I still kind of want it. I'm like, man, that looks so badass. And I love the sort of fact that he's now tasked by the armorer to take care of Baby Yoda. He is now in his support, and he must now go find where it comes from. And he's told it's by mysterious magicians named the Jedi. And the Jedi had been fighting the Mandalorians in the past. Also, on more background you can find online based off all of this, because the first came from the person who was the first Mandalorian Jedi. There's a lot of history there on the shows that can answer some of these questions for you if you're curious, or you can go watch another YouTube video. But clearly, they're not ignoring all that. They're embracing it wholeheartedly. So we're going to learn a lot more. But now we've been tasked with sort of where's the show going? Well, he's now tasked with finding where Baby Yoda comes from. That's what he's been. That's now his. So it's been said. He must go do it. He's outfitted, and then he's given a jetpack. Boom, boom, which I didn't think they'd use right away, but of course they did. And then we got that badass scene where she uses her sword, her hammers, to just destroy everybody. I loved it. I love that. I love the guy going in the kiln. This was badass. That whole scene, we don't know if the armor lived. I hope she did. Cool character, standing by her creed and her loyalty of what she needs to do. I love that shot where she hits the storm. I don't know where it is, but the stormtrooper's helmet cracks open. Really cool choreography here in this episode. And then they escape. They get through the grates and they go through the lava tunnel. We then learn that the IG unit has to sacrifice himself to destroy everybody, which Mando doesn't want him to do. Mando's finally come around and realizes, no, we need you. To see him in that moment of weakness, to me, was realistic. I would have liked that then. But the fact that we have shown him sort of losing and breaking down in previous episodes, it all sort of is paying off to show that the Mandalorian's flawed. He's got, loyalty. He's loyal to a fault. If you got his back, he's going to have your back, which clearly will probably be a detriment later on in the show. But for him to come around and finally trust a droid and not want to see him sacrifice himself, I thought that was a fun emotional scene, and this was a cool way to wipe out all these stormtroopers. Other fun fact, I saw this on Twitter, but they didn't have enough stormtrooper outfits apparently for the show, so they got the 501st Legion, which if you guys don't know the 501st Legion, they're just a bunch of fans who got stormtrooper suits. And they go around to like hospitals or fan events or whatever. They never take money. They just do it out of the love of Star Wars. I've been lucky enough to work with them a couple times on some videos, including a video I did, Moves Like Jabba, which I got to bring back. I'm going to re-upload that sometime. It's a funny parody we did years ago. But we got to work with some of those 501st members. They're so selfless. They're so wonderful. They were so much fun to work with. And the fact that they flew them out to sort of be a part of this show and be extras in their stormtrooper gear, so cool. I love that they did that, and that was a lot of fun. So then they wipe him out. We get to see IG's demise, which was sad. I suspect we won't see him again. But then the bad guy's coming back. There he is, going after our Mando. But what's going to happen? It's time to use that jetpack. Time for the Rocketeer to come into place. I love this shot. Look at that. Boom! What? And then it was cool. That was cool. I love that he didn't just like know how to fly it. He just boom, and then attached himself and then figured out how to just take off and land, because the armor had warned him earlier, you got to do your training modules before it'll really listen to you. But this scene where he takes down the ship was fantastic. Then he's tasked with sort of figuring out he's got to take Baby Yoda and figure out where he comes from. I love this. He buries Quill. Again, very sad. They're off to space. And then we reveal the villain's not dead. He's coming back for more. Oh, not only is he coming back for more, but they've got a history. This is a big bad that we're going to see again. Where did that come from? That's a Mandalorian weapon. Woo! Lots to look forward to. So that's the summary of the episode. I was a big fan. Overall, from a season review, I think the show's fantastic. Look, I had a misstep with that season, or episode 5, where he meets the fellow assassin, the young assassin's like, "Help me, Mando! I'm a terrible actor. I'm supposed to get my first kill. Can you do it?" No, that was a terrible episode. Same episode with the babysitter, Amy Sedaris, as I'm a gruff garage lady. Oh, look at you, our baby. I couldn't. That episode really almost made me turn off the whole show. It's my one negative review. But then they came back with John Wick in space. They've been boom, boom, boom. I think they should cut episode 5. Didn't need it. Episode 4, also debatable, but I think showed his sort of how serious he takes the creed. He finds this woman who he clearly is into. She's into him. He's clearly wants to settle down. He's got this kid. I think it's sort of a lost cause for him. But he thinks, could I do this? I like that internal struggle. So episode 4 not as bad. Episode 2, where the kid, we might finally get to be with the kid, the Mudhorn, all that stuff, the Jawas. It was fine. It was just a little slow. But we had to have a moment where they sort of got to know each other. So overall, I say high marks for the season overall. Really, one episode to me was the misstep. The rest of them were all worthy. So 1 out of 8 ain't bad at all. And I think now we know where the show is going with the mission of him finding where Baby Yoda comes from, which I don't think will be an easy mission at all. Where do you even go about to start that? And then once he starts asking around, you know who this is. More people are going to want to get involved. We're going to fight him. So I'm intrigued to see where this goes. Now, where is this going to go? Funny you ask. Jon Favreau confirmed that season 2 will debut in the fall of 2020, which is the same time Winter Soldier and Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to debut. So Disney Plus is going to have a big release again in the fall. A lot more stuff, I assume, will be out at that point. And those will be 2 big shows that we're going to be looking forward to reviewing and watching. But he revealed that it's coming back in the fall, and he posted this, Season 2, Mandalorian, coming fall 2020, with this Gamorrean guard sculpt. Oh, look how cool this dude is. This is sick. I dig it. Look at this. The broken horn, the scar. What is the fingers? Look at him. Is he just like a warrior that he's going to have to face later? Is this going to be a sidekick who sort of revolts against a Jabba-like character? I want to learn more. I love when I see a character. I'm like, oh man, I've always wanted to really learn more about where do they come from? What are they? Can they talk? Or is there going to be a smart one? This is fascinating. So it'll be interesting to come back and say how big of a part did this character play? Not just a cameo or a big chunk. That was a great reveal. And then there's some rumors saying insiders this is from Deadline, so I take it with a little bit less than a grain of salt. They're pretty good at their scoops, but who knows? But insiders have hinted that several established characters from the Skywalker saga's feature films mythology will make appearances during the show's sophomore season. Whew, I don't know, man. Like Boba Fett, Jango Fett, clearly we might see them. But does that mean they're going to go back and try and have Luke show up or Han Solo? What does this mean? Does this mean Gamorrean guards and Rancors? All right, cool. Or does it mean Luke? Oh, there's going to be an episode where we cast Sebastian Stan as Luke, which, have you guys seen that meme? Sebastian Stan looks exactly like young Mark Hamill. It's kind of freaky. And they'll get, what's his name, who played Solo? I can't remember his name. I don't really want to see that. Do you? Do you guys want to see that? Is that what season 2 is going to be? Oh, cool. Which cameos do we run into now? I love the fact that they're using species. I love the fact that we have Baby Yoda. I love the fact that we got this sort of another Gamorrean guard. That to me is interesting. Show me new characters in the species we know and love, but characters that we can grow to know who didn't get a chance to be in the main movies as leading roles. That's where I hope they go. As for how much they connect to Clone Wars and Rebels, I haven't seen the show, so I don't know. Will they bring in Osaka, who's the fan favorite character? This one? I don't know the show, but she's the one everyone's like, oh my God, she's the best Star Wars character there is. She would be older now, but then I think she time traveled or something in the show. Again, I don't know, but there's a lot of speculation of, we'll figure out a way to bring an older Osaka back. There's so much that could happen in the show. What I want to see is continuing the plot of where does this character come from. I think next season it's time to learn his name or the species name would be great. Sort of reveal. Let's start getting some more lore. I don't think we should. Obviously, we need to stress this out. I don't think he should just solve that problem in season 2. I like Mando being the babysitter, protecting Baby Yoda. I'm in. I'm on that board. I think that's fun. Baby Yoda can sometimes save the day. The other interesting thing was, do they fast forward and let him age? I don't think they can, though, because Yoda is obviously aging so slow. We're calling him Yoda because we don't know what his species is. But is there a version where you just fast forward to, I guess no, because Mandalorian wouldn't be able to age. He would be really old by the time Yoda became a teen. The whole age thing throws me out. So he's going to be a baby. He can be a baby throughout the whole season. They can go years. So is that good or bad? It's like baby Groot and real Groot, and then teen Groot. Could they mix it up or no? Do they just keep him Baby Yoda the whole time and then somewhere down the line, some big show, other show reveals, oh, I'm the old Baby Yoda. You know that's going to happen someday, but I would rather them save that for like 10 years from now, where they have some cool thing they can pull and be like, oh yeah, here's Baby Yoda. Remember him? That thing you guys loved 10 years ago? Yeah, now he's back and he's old. And then we're all older, like, oh my God. And the kids who watch is like, oh my God, nostalgia. Oh, that's depressing. Anyway, I hope they just keep the Mando Baby Yoda thing going. They eventually, when the show wraps up, find him for a place to live safely, so that way we can just know he lived on, and then we end this thing. I don't want to see, oh, it's the Luke episode, or oh, it's here comes Donald Glover as Lando again, who just happens to run into the Mando. I mean, that is what TV shows do. They always have the sort of star of the week or the crossover episodes. Jetsons met the Flintstones. Is that what we want here? What do you think? Tell me down below your comments of what you want to see in The Mandalorian Season 2. Did you think this ended well? If you didn't, I'm very curious. Chime in down below. You can always hit me up on social media at Andy Signor for your comments. Questions, anything you want me to cover in a news story here. I'll be back with Nerd Wars soon. Season 1 ended, but stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't already for more content, and join if you like supporting what I do here. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. May the Force be with you, and I'll be back with more content very soon. Bye, everybody.